Hey, what's up guys, it is Super Spino Gaming back with another Predator Hunting Grounds how to play video. Today I'll be teaching you guys how to play the Chopper Predator from the Predator Hunting Party DLC from I believe 2023. Now this Predator class personally for me definitely is not the most solid out of the 3-pack between Scar and Celtic, Scar being my personal favorite from the pack. I personally think that Ilphonic had knocked it out of the park with Chopper's appearance. From his shin guards, to his chest plate, to his shoulder pads, to even the skulls on his back, I definitely think Chopper has had a lot of love put into him. Now my only complaint is the skulls on the back of him definitely could have used some work, as they kind of look like Halloween decorations, but that's just my opinion personally. As for gameplay, the Chopper Predator definitely plays the most similarly to both the Scout, the Witch, the Anubis, and the Exile, where he really lacks in health and in energy, he makes up for in stamina and speed. As you can see here, the weapon of choice I have chosen for his melee build is definitely the Alpha Sickle. As with the Alpha Sickle, the weapon you unlock after you get the Alpha Predator, is a very fast and versatile weapon, perfectly compensating for the subclass of Ghost. Now, since this Predator has very low health and energy, I am using Ghost in a very sparing way. As melee rushing the fireteam is a very squishy class, such as the Chopper Predator, is a very poor idea and is how you get melted overall. Unless, however, the fireteam is either split up or they're not that good. And as you're about to witness here, this fireteam was not honestly all that good, considering the fact that they hunker down in a house where I can easily plasma spam them, just like in my last video. Now, a decent fire team with this class in particular in the tactics I'm about to use would definitely defeat me pretty easily, as they would stick together, push the objective, and have super OP builds and weapons overall. However, that's not what I'm about to experience in this game, as you're about to witness. Now, as you're about to see, this fire team really brings out the advantages of a Ghost / melee build, such as Chopper. The reason for that is the vast majority of games that you queue into as a Predator, you will see teams just like this. Teams who are uncoordinated, teams who are unfamiliar with how the weapons work and what builds work the best with what weapons, and also the fact that you have really OP weapons and you have a sense of strategy to when you're attacking the fire team. Now, the sense of strategy that I personally really like to use with the Chopper Predator is a hit and run, hit and run, hit and run strategy where I come in with the Alpha Sickle, I do as much damage as humanly possible, and I pull out quickly. In doing this, I'm doing one of two things. One, I'm draining the fire team health resources as quickly and as efficiently as humanly possible, and two, I'm draining ammunition and creating fear amongst the team. Fear and distrust of the fire team surroundings is what you want them to have the absolute utmost power and feeling. Now here you can clearly see that I am making these people feel that I am hurting them something fierce, since they're just hiding in a shack like a bunch of cowards. Now, here's not to say that I haven't done this myself as playing Fireteam. I mean, we all get a little bit skittish of the Predator. However, I am a Chopper Predator, and as a Fireteam member, I am definitely going to be well aware that a Chopper Predator cannot withstand a ton of damage, as you can clearly see there. So the strategy of hiding in a shack away from the Chopper Predator, as it just wipes me out completely with plasma, is definitely not a good idea. However, as you can see right there, I just suffered major damage from going into the shack and claiming. Now, many other Predators would have just plasmaed from the outside, killed all four, and just been done with it. But me, I'm a little bit different than that, and I want to savor the fun. Now, the reasons I can make judgments like this is simply because I am a very experienced Predator Hunting Grounds player. I've been playing Predator for a better part of 5 years, so I can dictate when somebody is of lesser skill than somebody else. And from what I can see here, this fire team is definitely not as experienced and skilled, as we're about to see where I come and wipe out this OWLF operative who's just hiding in the corner. Now I know many other chopper predators or many melee centric predators as a whole are not going to play as reckless as me, and they're going to take opportunity where it lies, and more power to you. But however, this is just a basic guide of how to play it, like just an idea of how I personally love to play these kinds of squishier slash melee centric predators, so take what I have with a grain of salt. Now what's going to happen next here is this fire team's going to go and reinforce. Now the reason I'm having them reinforce is because personally I'm here for the love of the game. I'm not here to prove myself as the best predator on the block. I'm just here to have fun, and I know that's what the majority of my viewers probably play like as well. Now the time in between reinforcements, you can kind of do what you want with it. You can trail the fire team, you can watch which reinforcement they're going to hit, but since Overgrowth is such a small map, I personally like to just think around, get my heals up, and also kill some AI. As we can clearly see here, this fire team member is taking quite a long time to get the reinforcement on, but that's okay, I got quite a while to wait. As you can see what's about to transpire here, the fire team member finally discovers the reinforcement, and I am on the way. Now the fight at these reinforcements can be extremely interesting, as we're about to see here. This fire team takes their time and stands their ground, which is something you don't really see every day as they're clamoring to get back to the objective. Now there's no real strategic reason for me throwing out these audio decoys, I'm just doing it for giggles, but I am going to try to get a falcon out there to get some recon on prey, as I personally really think the falcons are far more effective than the bear traps, simply because intel is far more important than trapping somebody for 2 seconds in my opinion. Now in instances like these where there's like a real big tug of war between you and the fire team, the best thing to do is yet again the hit and run strategy. Just go in, hit, run out, go in, hit, run out, rinse and repeat. Now a tactic I like to use in ghost centric builds is cloak, uncloak, cloak, uncloak. When you attack, cloak, and then when you attack again, you cloak again. It's rinse and repeat. It's definitely tedious, but believe me, it's worth it for getting as much benefit from that subclass as humanly possible. Now this is one of those instances where hoarding a bunch of pigs beforehand would have been a smart idea, because I'm going to heal here, going to get severely wounded, and I'm going to be scrambling to find a pig. Now this is something you don't really want to happen to you because you're wasting vital time, and time in this game for you as the predator is everything. Now what you're going to witness here is one of my biggest mistakes, as I do not have the energy to spare in order to keep this fire team where I want them. Now I'm kind of scrambling around. I'm looking for a proper angle to get in some melee, but it is just not happening, so I go back to the plasma. Now during my flurry of plasma caster, you're about to see me down this person. Now this is huge because with this downed person, I can make a lot happen all at once, so I take out my alpha sickle and I start going in for the kill. I was severely mistaken to try to come in and take the advantage because that minigunner had a bigger hold over the area than I bargained for, so I feigned retreat. As you can clearly see here, I do something rare for predator players out in the wild, and that's sit and observe the fire team for a minute. Now granted, I did make the point that you don't have all the time in the world, and realistically as the predator player you do not have all the time in the world, but what you can do is you can sit for a minute and be still and watch how the fire team operates. Now that assault didn't go as good as I wanted it to, which is completely fine, except oh wait, I don't have the pigs, so now I have to go kill a pig as the fire team can hunker out and move on to back to the objective. Now against better teams, that is a fatal mistake that you do not want to make, is let them get distance, because as a commenter on one of my more recent videos had indicated to me, 1 or 2 good fire team players could and do melt me and put me on the run. However, that's exactly not what's going on here, as these players are very ill-experienced and do not know how to take the advantage accordingly. Like I mentioned earlier, as a predator player, you're mainly going to run into these kind of players. There's no more real PC death squads. There's no more real PlayStation death squads, and if there are, they're extremely rare to come across, at least for me in pubs games. And here's where we get an instant like this where Ghost really comes into effect, because I caught this guy all by himself, and putting me on the run made him very comfortable with being at that vantage point, at which I got to dispatch him very quickly, and the dominoes start to fall. Even with more inexperienced fire teams, if one guy dies and there's 3 left, it becomes immediately so much easier to dispatch them. Now, if they're all good players and they play very well, it's a lot more difficult. However, that's not the case here, and these guys just absolutely got obliterated by me. Very simple. Overall, since we're entering the back end of the game, like, I'm about to win, I'm claiming all my trophies, I'm doing my thing. My final thoughts of the Chopper Predator are, it can be extremely fun if you have the right build and the right weapons on it. However, in comparison to the other Alien vs Predator classes, and also the regular Predator classes that came before and also after, this is definitely one of the weakest DLC classes you could probably play. So if you want a more dynamic experience where you're almost guaranteed to win, such as with Scar or Celtic, play those. However, if you want my personal rating of this Predator out of 10, I'm going to have to give it probably a 6.5. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our chopper game has concluded. Now, did I have fun? Yeah, I got 7 kills and 14 AI kills. You're not really beating that. But as for the future of these videos, tell me in the comments how well I did commentating, and I'll be sure to do the rest of the how-to series in this way. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And this is Super Spino Gaming out. Peace.